Podcasting from Times Square, New York City. This is the Brooklyn Baritone Podcast. Hey everyone, as usual, it's morning when I'm recording these things, but whenever you choose to listen to this, morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, late at night, I always appreciate the likes, the looks, the listens, and of course, I would appreciate the support by you hitting the subscribe and notification bell on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone, but do that if you want to, no pressure. Came here today in the Mecca of New York, the heart of New York, the city of the world, the capital of the world. But see, if you need to be the capital of the world and be the Mecca of anything, you have to know about laws. I'm going to talk about laws today. Laws, well, there's a reason why the profession of being a lawyer is a lucrative profession, because in order for you to advance in any way, shape, or form, you're going to have to know the laws, the law of the land. You see, you're going to get caught up in a system that has a lot of laws, and if you don't know about it, you're just going to get lost. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities that you miss because you may not know the laws, you don't know the ordinances, you don't know the regulations. Meanwhile, there are a lot of other people, entities out there that do know the laws. They know the ordinances. There are people who are of power and a lot of influence that either are part of a group that influences law or they are an entity. This is why so many people who make money, who are powerful, they seek out political positions after a while. Because yes, you could affect many laws, and you understand many laws. The more you deal with commerce, the more you deal with real estate, the more you deal with criminal things. But at the same time, there's only but so much that this money can go and do for you. So the next logical step is for a lot of people to get into politics or get closely tied with people who are in politics, and politicians, affect the law. You know what that saying goes, no taxation without representation. Well, are you being represented? Because there are many people who aren't being represented, they're being taxed, but these laws out here are not for them. Many of us find ourselves in that boat. But see, once you go into the realm of man's law, these systems, judicial systems, it's finite. You could say basically so many things are supposed to be morally grounded, but they're not. Most things that we know are motivated by money. I take the shades off a little bit because I didn't have them on today. It's so bright out here. So there's only but so much you could actually probably do. You could accomplish a great deal, grand things, when you deal with the law, when you pursue money, when you're able to influence law, or if you know law, you can find out the loopholes of how to get caught up, how not to get caught up in certain things, and how to avoid certain things. And you probably, would probably understand how to zig when everyone else is zagging, and that's going to benefit you. But going back to the finite part of man's law, you can only go but so much. Because unfortunately, a lot of what man is doing isn't really grounded on the foundations of the proper law. I was going to go there. It's one thing to deal with the law of man. It's another thing to know the law of the Creator. The basic laws that we all should be living by, basically the Ten Commandments. And if you do follow the Father, you know his character. You understand what your character is supposed to be. So yes, you can achieve a high position of grandeur. You can get a lot of money. You could have your family well off. You could be very influential. But the thing about that is, again, what is the profit of man if he loses his whole soul? There's so many people who have money, who have influence, who have access to resources, and they're not the better for it. Yeah, they could get nice things, of course, I understand, and your impact to provide for your family, yourself, and others goes a great deal, but then you have to have that character, you have to have that standard. There's one thing to follow man's law, which is finite, and then following the Creator's law, which is infinite. You have to remember, you can't box yourself in. So you could be of this world, or you could be in this world, but not of it. You can get that money. You got to learn the laws of the land. That'll help you out tremendously, because a lot of people who are locked up or even hemmed up right now because they just didn't know the law or didn't know loopholes. But I could guarantee you life would be so much better for you and for everybody if we all knew the proper laws of the Father. Anyways, that's all I got today. You can catch the rest of my content on my website at www.brooklynbaritone.com. You can also catch more of my content on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. I'm also on LinkedIn under Corey Ashley. You could also find me on Instagram and on Facebook. You can get the audio versions of this podcast on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music under Podcasts. I also come on local cable television 4 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Verizon, RCN, Optimum, and Spectrum. There we go. Anyways, I want you guys to be blessed. Walk good. You will hear from me next week. I'm out.